Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there, and sorry about that background noise. So yes, I hope you're getting out in nature like Starlight is, and this is a beautiful park. It has got a lot of green grass. Not every park I've gone to has beautiful green grass, so I am grateful for the beautiful park and the beautiful green grass. And anyway, I hope you're getting out in nature like Starlight, like go for a hike, go swimming, do some sports somewhere, anything just to get outside. And also, if you are new to my YouTube channel, is welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you can give my videos a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't be afraid, don't be shy, swing by and say hi to Starlight by leaving Starlight a comment down below. Beep, beep, beep. And also, you could share my videos with your family, your friends. I saw some deer today, again, 2 of them, and a jackrabbit. Have you ever seen a jackrabbit run? Woo! It's awesome. So yes, a jackrabbit. And Starlight wasn't able to get that on video though, sorry. And also you could check out my playlist and find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So this video is it is about, where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? Doom 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 boom 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 boom. So where do you see yourself? I don't know, Starlight. I don't know where I see myself in 10 years. Well, that's really not a good answer. That is an answer, though. And it's so important, to ask yourself, think about this, is where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? And I've had this question asked to me. People have asked me this question throughout my life. And you, whether you understand this or not, we are the creators of our reality. God is a creator. Look at the beauty that, this didn't have, well, let's see, God, in the Genesis, where God created the heavens and earth, the first verse in the Bible. But look at God's creation. So it all starts up here, your imagination, and that's why this is all like, well, the earth is not, this is God's creation, so this is as real as it's gonna get. But a lot of things after this is an illusion. But so we are the ones creating our reality. We are the ones that are creating our world, and if we all work together, we can create a new world. And there's a lot of people out here that are doing that, is creating a new world, a new earth. And but that's not what this topic is about. In the Bible, some of you might think that's crazy, but in the Bible it does say about a new earth. So so anyway, as far as like, where do you see yourself? Are you living at the same place where you are? Do you want to live where you are? Do you want to, get free? How about the relationship that you're in? Is that where you can see yourself in 10 years from now? How about that job that you have right now? Do you see yourself doing that 10 years? I know that. Starlight. These questions, I know. But you know what? If you don't take action now, you could be stuck at that location that you're at right now. You could be stuck in that relationship right now. Still, you could be stuck at that job still. So that is why this is so important, that, think really hard, take some time with yourself, and I make these videos because it's so important. These are so important, is that God wants you to be happy. And I have never been so happy in my life the way I am right now. What was that? Starlight, but you're living in your car. Because I'm not materialistic. I don't need stuff to keep me happy. I had to let go of everything, and now I'm grateful that I did, because the wisdom and knowledge and the places that I got to go, because I am free. I am free from where I used to be, you know. I don't have to stress out. Now I can just say, you know, I can pray to God and ask God for help, ask for guidance. You know, God has taken care of all my needs on this journey, you know, and I'm not, it doesn't mean because where I am is where I'm going to stay the rest of my life. No, it takes time. Starlight gets messages from the universe, you know, and let's Starlight tell Starlight what I need to work on, you know. But you know what? Things don't happen overnight, and that's okay. As long as you're taking action, that's what matters. And there's a lot to this. You know, I have to be gentle with myself. Now, when I went to church, especially the cult church, the second one, wow, they were not freaking gentle with me. They made me feel guilty. They made me feel useless. They made me feel horrible about myself. That's not God's love. You know, maybe some of you are in a church that makes you feel guilty. And if you are, you know, it's okay to, you know, like even when I make a video about things and it bothers you to hear that you might be a certain way on my videos, you know, and because if we're doing something that's not pleasing to God and somebody brings it up with love, saying, you know, you can ask God to forgive you for those things. It doesn't feel good to, you know, be called out on things. No, that's normal. That's okay. You can let those things go, but God doesn't want, you know, it's important to work on these things because we all got shit that we got to work on. You know, we're all got different levels. You know, I've been working my ass off for years. So I've been working on the big stuff, you know, first, you know, got all the big stuff out of the way. But there's still, I got lots of stuff to work on every single day. So if you don't feel like you're where you want to be, don't worry about it. It's okay. Because it does take time. God gives me, you know, I get assignments from God. Would you believe this? I get assignments from God. God will give me messages through the numbers. Now, some of you don't listen to the, you know, those videos. You don't click those videos to find out. Some of you don't believe in it because you've been programmed to believe that you always got to do things a certain way. Guess what? It's wrong. Whether you agree with me or not, you know, when you keep on repeating the same stuff and thinking that you're going to get, you know, something's going to change when you keep on repeating the same stuff, the same, you know, and this, we're not, you've got, just like your phones, you can't like stay in a 3G phone and expect that phone to work right. Well, same with you, with this planet Earth, is that you've got to make those adjustments or you're going to fall behind and get swallowed up with life. So you got to keep up. And I didn't want nothing to do with the technology and stuff. But you know what? There's a lot of people who are going to get swept up. They're not going to be able to make it in the lifetime. They're going to have some hard struggles through their life because they didn't, you know, they didn't want to do it. They were afraid. They were afraid, you know, of doing certain things. Just because there's technology, it doesn't mean it's evil. And I was told, ooh, the cell phones were evil. Ooh, the computers are evil. So I had that struggle. But where do you see yourself in 10 years? You know, you gotta have a plan. You know, you can't just have like, you know, like if we were in school right now and Like if you're going to create your dream house, how do you think it gets created? By a blank piece of paper? You know, where's the blueprint of your future? So you got to have a blueprint. You got to, you know, because if you don't have anything figured out, it's just a blank sheet of paper. That's exactly what you're going to get, is a blank nothing. So like God, when God created the heavens and earth, that was, you know, he meant God, not that God is a he, but that was a thought. Sorry. Just like when I used to make artwork, first it came up here, you know, I imagined, you know, what I wanted to create, and then I went from there and created stuff. Wow, I had fun. I can create things left and right. I am very creative. You know, we all are very creative, but if you're not using your creativity, you're not gonna be the happiest that you could be, you know, by, you know, staying stuck in situations that are not pleasing to you, you know. And you know, is don't you want to be happy in your life? Don't you want more in your life? Are you content in that relationship? Are you content with that job? How about where you live? So I meet people, guess what? They let material stuff hold them back. Starlight, I got this house, you know. Now I remember, you know, I was going to have a video tonight, and then I forgot what I was going to talk about. So now it just came up because of what I'm talking about now. So now I remember what I was going to talk about. But yeah, is that people let their material stuff stop them from visualizing where they could be, where they want to be. There's people, you know what they want to do? They want to do what Starlight's doing. Starlight, what? I got kids, I can't do that. You know what? You can do anything that you want to do. There are people that do travel, and they homeschool their kids as they are traveling around and going places. Take your kids on an adventure. All you got to do is make sure everything is legal and find a way of doing so, you know. Your kids would learn so much. There's people, they don't want their kids in the public school system. They know that it's a trap. You know, they don't want their kids going at the even at a public school. They want to do it themselves, you know, especially when after COVID, a lot of people took their kids out of school because of COVID and the things that they were putting up with at the school. So, you know, you can create a better future for yourself, but you gotta have a vision. You gotta have some, you know, like, how do you see yourself? I already know how I see myself. Woo! You know? You might see me as I am right now, not knowing what I'm doing behind. You know, it's a lot of inward job, a lot of things that, you know, I'm letting go of old patterns that no longer serve me. And if you think that you can live off the old patterns and the old systems in your reality today, you're wrong. Just like your phone, you can't, you know, we can't live off of a old cell phone now. You know, that's why I had to get another cell phone. Starlight's never happy when I have to go get another cell phone and get an upgrade. So, and that is how this life is here, is that's what Starlight's been doing. I got an upgrade. That's why my name is Starlight now, is because I've been working on myself extra hard. And so God does give me assignments. Okay, Starlight, this is what you need to work on. You know? Oh, okay. And then God lets me know the universe lets me know, you do these things, Starlight, abundance will be flowing in. And every time I do what the universe tells me to do, abundance flows in. Things are getting taken care of without me, you know? Everything is being taken care of because I'm doing what the universe wants me to do. I'm doing what God wants me to do. It might not look much to you. Sometimes it's all it is a, you know, just like a worm or a snail. It's a slow process, but as long as you're taking action, even if you're working, if you set aside each night a couple hours in a day and work on something, in time, you'll get there. And that's the problem with this reality, the way this 3D matrix is. People got you in such a hurry that nobody wants to do the work because they're like, oh, it's going to take too long. I don't know what family I came from. It's kind of weird, but like with Noah's Ark, you think that took, how long do you think that took? It's probably in the Bible how long it took for him to build the ark. But if he just sat around thinking about it, nothing would have ever gotten done. I'll tell you what, when I grew up, I had jobs that I thought, man, it's like you're looking at this big mountain, and then your parents are like, yeah, we got to get that big old mountain, and we got to move that over there. I mean, I don't know what family I come from, but man, I'll tell you what, if you're just staring at how big that mountain is, freaking nothing's going to ever happen. So stop looking at how much work you think it's going to take. Just jump in there and get working. That's all I got to say, really. You just got to act. You got to do it now. Because otherwise, a week later, you could be just standing around looking at how big that mountain is, wasting your time and life away. There's things that I've done that I'm like, holy shit. Some of the jobs I've had in my life, I'm like, holy cow, man, how long is that gonna, I could just sit there and scratch my head all day long. How long is that gonna take me to do? And then nothing got done. But if I jumped in it and started working on it, like that mountain, a week later, you're like, wow, look at that. Because I was working on it, because when it, with like dirt and like rain is, or even like snow, it's kind of funny, I'm going to use snow too, because snow is kind of a, like shoveling, holy shit, my family, it was like amazing. We had a long ass freaking driveway, freaking long, from the end of the road, down a long driveway, all the way to the trailer that I was born in. We could have all just sat there at the end of the driveway, just looking at it, or we could do something about it. It took the whole family to shovel that long ass driveway, to make it wide enough, make sure we had a parking spot, for people to come up in the driveway, to shovel the porch off. And, we even had to get the trailer roof, cleared off so we didn't have problems with the leaking, our roof having a leak. But if we all just sat there, or, even a driveway that you have at your house, if you shovel, if you know what it's like to be in New York and have snow, you can look at that foot of snow and thinking that it's just going to disappear on its own, or you can do something about it. I'll tell you what, if you came from anywhere with snow and you got hit with snow like I did when I was growing up where I lived, when we got hit with snow, bam, it was like freaking a lot of snow. I could just sit there and look at it all day long, wonder how long this is going to take to shovel this. But no, you got to go to work, right? So a lot of people from New York, they're like, man, you want to get that driveway shoveled out, especially depending on what kind of snow you're dealing with. If you're dealing with wet snow, you better get out there and get on that, because if it's wet snow and if the temperatures drop, shit, you got yourself, a triple hard job if it's cold, really cold out, and it just was wet snow. Because now that snow is going to kind of get icy and hard, and it's a bitch. You're not going to you won't be able to use a snow blower on it anyway if it's wet snow. But it's about taking action is what it's about. People in New York, when they know about snow, they know certain snow, you got to shovel it right away. You got to get it. You got to get out there. You can't just sit there and wait for it to stop. You want to get out there and get it done, because that stuff, especially if it's cold out, it's going to stiffen up, and you'll never be able to, get out of your driveway, and nobody will be able to get in your driveway. So, there's things that you are not happy with, and I know it, is, that relationship. Make, do what I've done before. If you're not happy in that relationship, make plans. Have a plan. Make things, work. Say, you know what? I am not happy. I've tried to work on this relationship. I am growing where they are shrinking. They want to go backwards. I want to stop drinking alcohol. I don't want to smoke marijuana anymore. They keep on trying to get me into it. They don't understand that I am growing, and I am tired of this stuff. I don't want to do it anymore. And you know what? We're going in different directions. It's all fake. It's all baloney. It's not even real. Don't even want to go to bed with the person anymore. Don't even want to, share the same bed anymore. Don't want to even wake up in the morning anymore. Don't want to even, it's like I'm happier when they're out of the house than when they come back. So if you're in that situation, but just sitting there thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it is not going to get you anywhere. You got to do something about it. You got to make something. You got to, instead of waiting for things to happen, you got to make things happen. You got to take action. You got to say, you know what? I'm not. I tell you, I am not going to stay here any longer. I am going to make action. I'm going to take action today. I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to make a plan. You don't have to tell them about it. Make a plan without them knowing about it. Figure it out. Get a plan. Figure out, okay, how can I make this work? Well, stop spending so much money. Save your money. Save your money. Stop going out to expensive restaurants. Stop wasting your money on things that you don't need. Save your money. Don't say anything to nobody. You don't even have to have it in a bank account if people know what you got in your bank account. Hide it somewhere. They don't need to know. They don't want to work on themselves. You don't have to stay in those kind of toxic environments or, a relationship that you don't like. Even a job. You're tired of the job? Don't tell anybody. Make plans. Go look for another job. They treat you like shit. Say, hey, there's times I left jobs. I didn't give my freaking no way notice. There's jobs out there, don't think that you got to give a notice. That's what keeps people stuck. Because that's the worst part of it is when you got to give that notice. You think, see, that's what it's a trick. It is a trick to make you think you got to. People hired me because I didn't have to say anything about that job, because a lot of people don't want to hear you complain and be truthful about the job that you were at, because then they're afraid that you're going to say the same thing about their company and all that. So don't even say anything about that job that, treated you wrong. You can get hired or even start your own business, have something greater where you're going to be happy. Find out what your life purpose is. You don't like that place that you're living? Move. Start searching. But I don't have money. Those are excuses. There's a place. You might have to switch everything around, the job and the place. So what? Look for that place. Look for a different job. Look for a different location that you really enjoy and love. There's a place that's calling you. That's home. If you're not happy with the place that you're living right now, that's not home. If you're in a relationship that you're not happy in, that's not home. Find your home by letting go of those places and those people that are not meant for you. And you know what? You'll be happy. You'll be, man, how come I didn't do this longer? Because of fear. So anyway, I love you so much. You got to take action. Make a plan. Have a plan. Figure it out. I'll tell you, that's what my last relationship is. I didn't say shit. I worked. I paid everything that I owed that person. I made things right. Squared things off. I saved all my money. I wasn't spending money. I was saving money. Went and I searched for a place to live. Found a beautiful place. It might have not have been the place that I was supposed to move, but it got me out of there. It was like a stepping stone for the time, but that's okay. I got out of that one situation, and that's what you got to be careful, is not get yourself into another one like I did. Don't move in with people that you don't know, and a lot of times moving in, trying to think that you're going to move in with other people to get out of one situations could put you right back into another situation that you're not going to be happy with. So anyway, I love you. This is Starlight. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you can leave me a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you can share my videos with your family, your friends. That crow out there. And a ladybug. Plus, you can check out my playlist, and you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. I love you all. Make plans. You're the creator of your reality. You don't like your reality? Guess what? It's up to you to change it. I can't change it for you. I'm a teacher, an influencer, and a life coach, but you got to take the actions. Not tomorrow, but now. Anyway, I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.